Hi, you're getting Randy's view about how to use Google and Google Scholar when searching for articles as well. So let's just start with google.com. So I'm going to put in here community of inquiry and let's just see what it comes up with. So you'll notice first of all that I'm getting scholarly articles for the community of inquiry. I'm going to bet you don't. It's because I use Google Scholar. And when you start using Google Scholar on a regular basis, when you go into search, a general search in Google, it'll give you that. But look what else it gives us, okay? And a lot of this is based on my own algorithms, okay, in terms of all of the sort of the pattern of what I click on after a search, how deep I go in pages on search. So Google's accumulating all that information as a search engine and serving me up what it thinks is right. Sometimes it's convenient for these, but this usually leads you down a wild goose chase. It's kind of like a rabbit hole in Alice in Wonderland. So sometimes they're useful for quick information. I find I use them on my phone. If I'm looking up something really quickly, I might find the answer faster by going there without digging in too deep. But for scholarly work and things like that, you got to go further. So we're getting the community of inquiry.org. We get the Athabasca site where the model is that I was referenced in the course. We're getting Wikipedia. I get Wikipedia because I do look at Wikipedia, not necessarily to take the information or cite from there, but to find links to other sources that Wikipedia users might have contributed. So it's another tricky way to find a route into finding some of these documents, other than just trying to search like crazy in Google and coming up with next to nothing. Okay, so we get a University of Denver model applying the piece. We're getting images, which is great for figures and things like that. I'm getting some, and iRoddle is the Athabasca University journal. So I'm getting some of that serving up so you can see what's happening here. So I'm not going to go much further. Actually, I will go to the next page just to see. So now I'm still getting more around the framework. It's pretty specific. So this is all community of inquiry. It's not getting anything else. Okay, so remember that. Let's look. This is now a search on google.ca. Let's see what this one serves up, if it's any different. So when we look at this, I get the scholarly articles again. I get the framework. Okay, that's good. People ask about the community, etc. But I'm getting a little different. It is going through most of the same stuff, but I find sometimes on google.ca it's going to serve up a little bit more Canadian-based stuff. You notice I'm not getting the American universities necessarily in here, or at least as much. Okay, so that's that. But now look, I'm going to show you this one. We get ResearchGate.net is a publication. It says it's a PDF. Okay, so that's all right, but it doesn't really tell me much more. So what I found is that Google Scholar is a much more sophisticated one as well, and it starts to create an identity for you if you use it a lot. And so I'm going to type the same one in, Community of Inquiry, and I'm going to search. Now I get a very different view. So there's a number of filters and things in here that you can use to help you really find things out. Couple of the first things just to look at is that you've got some search parameters. And notice that I've got include citations checkmarked. Okay, so I'll tell you why because you can look at this and you can see how many times other articles have cited this one. So that's part of what the whole scraping of the net and the information that Google's accumulating that is really quite helpful. So if you want to find that seminal article, that piece that everybody's using, well, there you go. It tells you that. You don't have to try and find it in a bunch of other papers. Google serves that up. So this one is kind of cited by 165. It's in a journal, and it's 1987. Well, maybe that's not as important. Oh, look, here's a book. Okay, well, I can't find that online. I'm going to have to go to a library and find it. I can find the source and the reference, but that's all. So I can pick the ones that are more well cited. The other thing that it serves up in your information here is these are active links to an online publication. So every time I click on them, it's going to launch the PDF for me. So let's just take a look at the first one. It's on ResearchGate, which is great. It goes directly into the article that's here. So I've got the PDF. It says it was first published there, and now it's been reprinted here by permission. So ResearchGate is not the publisher. If you look at this was published in Internet and Higher Education back in the day in 2007, okay? And this is Garrison and Arbar. So this was originally published in a journal, and now it's been brought into ResearchGate, which is a much more active and open place where you can post a lot of your scholarly articles. And ResearchGate will actually scrape articles that are published online. So if you go in there and search for Barbour, Barbour, or myself, you'll find our articles are on ResearchGate. And we didn't put them there. They just got scraped off the internet for that. So this is another thing to kind of consider when you're looking at all this stuff. So when you get into, and you'll get to know who's paywalled, where there's subscriptions required for some of this stuff as well. But what's interesting is I'm getting all the scholarly articles that I want to look at. Okay, and here's the Aristotle. I mentioned that as well. So this is by someone, 197 citations, but here it is in Athabasca University's Aristotle network. And you can see on here, this is open publication. So they have HTML version that you can go to, which is great for a quick review. But if you actually want to get quotes or a page reference, then if you pick the PDF version, it's there. Oh, look, how to cite. It gives me the citation here, which is not quite APA format, not quite, but close, and we'll get you into that. So they also nicely list other ways. Okay, so now I'm going to argue with them because this is supposed to be all lowercase except for the starting of the sentence. So that's one of the things which you have to, again, you have to go back and fine tune APA, but for the most part, that's really just copy paste. So you don't have to figure this stuff out necessarily. So that's a little bit about Google Scholar. Let's go back to here. We did have what did we have? We did have a PDF, ResearchGate. Oh, there it is. So this gives me now this article by Garrison, which was published before, but I don't know when it was originally published. Okay, so I'm getting this, and how am I going to source this? Unless I go to the very end of it to see there's 4 pages. So key terms, but it's got a page reference, but I don't know where this is from. That's the problem. It's okay for you to read like this, but I can't actually source this unless I look more deeper in here, and there's no automatic citation for this. So that's the danger in going in a generic search. So a Google search will give you that detail of information that you require. Oh, let's talk a little bit about more than just citations. Let's say, Randy says, your research is dated. You should look for more research that's more recent. Look what I've got. I can choose my time. I can pick a custom range of places and dates. So I can go from, let's go 09 to 2020. So I'm going to eliminate all sorts of stuff that is dated. So let's see, we don't have dates necessarily popping up on all of these, but if I do that and run the search again, I now have got different. But notice that some of the citations are down that hit on the top as well. And the other thing as well, when you look at this, not only do you get citations, look at this. It says cite this book. Okay, so I can't look at the book. I don't know where it is, but I can read it. Boom. APA right there. Isn't that amazing? So this saves so much trouble, and you're going, Randy, why didn't you tell us that before? It's because it's too much information that comes at you all at once. So when you struggle a little bit and you're challenged and you find a solution, you'll remember it and use it all the time. It took me a while to start using Google Scholar too, so don't think that this is just something that magically I've been doing for all my lifetime. I'm not. I racked my head against the wall so many times with APA and just absolutely was confounded by it, particularly in my master's back in the day. We didn't have all these rich tools. So that's one of the things that's there. The relevance is obviously important as well. And then we can, any typed, okay, so review articles are there within this. I'm going to stop there. And if you want to go further in Google Scholar, I will record the next steps of things that you can do with Google Scholar.